Everybody move here. The November leaks have finally been released. I guess at this point, it's more accurate to call these preview videos because Line is releasing the updates at the end of every month. So we're literally just getting 1 or 2 days notice. But you know what? I'm not complaining. It is still very useful and very handy to have all the information amalgamated in one place on one screen where we can kind of dissect and look at what's worth your time and more importantly, what isn't worth your time. Because especially if you're new to the game or a mid-tier player who doesn't have endless resources yet, it's probably more efficient and more beneficial for you to know what to avoid as opposed to what not to avoid. Because if you spend some coin on the what not to avoid and you get something good and later on you might even spend some skill tickets on it, that's not going to hurt you at all. That's going to benefit you. But if you're going to sink some coin in something that's absolutely useless, no coin, no score, no utility for events, missions, all that good stuff, that's much worse. That's definitely going to set you back, especially at the beginning when you have limited resources. So that is, of course, what we are here to discuss tonight. And all of that is possible because of Tsum Luke. So as always, massive shout out to Tsum Luke, who goes through the trouble of data mining all these assets for us every month. If you haven't already, make sure to get on that Reddit and leave the man a big thank you. Thank you so much. As always, it is very beneficial to the community, again, especially to the newer players. So before we get into the film collection, the new Tsum Tsum, everything, you know, my opinion of everything really, but you know, take it as you will. I feel like the information I have to offer is of some value. But anyways, before we get into that, I have some news. I will be away on vacation for 3 weeks as of tomorrow. So my Pac-Man gameplay videos are going to be about 3 weeks late. I apologize in advance, but this is going to be an awesome photography-based trip. I'm going to be heading back to Japan, and I actually started an Instagram account just for this. So if you like pretty things, if you like looking at landscapes and photos and just things that maybe you might want to check out yourself in the future, if you like traveling, all that good stuff, I'm going to have a link to my Instagram account in the description below. Or if you just want to see what I'm up to on my vacation, you know, check it out. And on that note, I suppose it is time to discuss the things that you're actually here for. So we're getting 5 new Tsum Tsum this month. 4 of them are good, 1 of them is not. Let's start with the not and then work our way to what I feel is the best of the bunch. So classic Mickey, the one on the left of the anniversary Mickey there, he is kind of the weakest of the group. Essentially, he tap dances across the screen. He'll pop 14, 15 Tsum Tsum on the right, 14, 15 Tsum Tsum on the left, and that's about it. So you already know with clearing ranges that low, he's not gonna be very good for much of anything really. So the score is not going to be there because 15, 14 Tsum clears is abysmal, and the coin is going to be even worse. But the saving grace is you might be able to get more time bubbles because it kind of falls within that 9 to 16 range. But then again, because he hits for so little, it's not really, extending the time for him is not going to make it that much better. So he's kind of the dud of the bunch. Next one up is going to be Beanstalk Mickey, the one on the right with the hat. He's kind of like Robin Hood. Essentially, if you have Halloween Sora, you know that the pumpkins appear on screen when you tap them. All these chains flow out and select a whole bunch of Tsum Tsum on screen at random, and then it explodes for the number of Tsum Tsum that the chains encapsulated. Now, Beanstalk Mickey does the same thing, except it's beans. Out of the beans, you get the stalks, you know, they kind of appear everywhere and do the exact same thing. So he's going to be the Netflix-friendly coin earner of the group because there's not much micromanagement you have to worry about. You charge up his ability with the Tsum, you pop the beans. Just make sure you don't pop them all like super quickly. Allow for more Tsum Tsum to populate the playing area so the stocks have more options of where to go, so you clear more and get more score and coin as a result. And of course, Anniversary Mickey, in my opinion, is really, really strong, the best of the bunch by far. Different league altogether, but there's a big but attached to that. There is a huge skill element to his ability. You're going to have to learn how to use gyro in ways you may not have even thought possible. So as you guys know, with most gyro Tsum Tsum, you're just tilting your phone like 5, 10, 15 degrees to the right or left, depending on which hand you play with. And you kind of go from there. With him, you need to vary that quite a bit, substantially actually, because you need to basically play to his fireworks and he's going to be firing them in bursts. So the first set, you probably want to tilt your phone forward, and that way you have the highest probability of generating time bubbles and other useful bubbles. And then you have to adjust the screen as well for his bigger nuke so that you get the most coin as a result. And also, the more Tsum Tsum you're going to be able to clear with that, the faster you're going to be able to recharge his ability and cycle through it repeatedly. So there's definitely a learning curve with him. He's not Netflix friendly. You definitely have to micromanage the game with him every step of the way. But if you're willing to do that, he's going to reward you with ridiculous score and coin. It's not going to be unreasonable to expect 20 plus base score million out of him, and you can probably get 10,000 plus base coin, just random number off the top of my head, just because you do have the ability to generate the time bubbles, but his ability is also useful. So very, very good. As far as Pac-Man and Blinky go, they're both kind of mid-tier in my opinion. Blinky is going to hit for about 29 to 31, which, as you know, is not strong, but it's also not weak. Like, it's good enough, especially if you're using the 524 to kind of get enough might zone, recharge him, get some coin, get some score. You can probably expect on average 4,000 base coin with him, maybe a little lower. Again, you're going to have those magical games where you're going to get double that, but it's all about consistency with games like these. And that's where Pac-Man also fails, in my personal opinion, because what he does is, by its very nature, going to slow down the gameplay. So when you charge up his ability, you're going to be able to connect Pac-Man on screen, the Might Tsum, and they're going to clear surrounding Tsum Tsum, which means, yes, you can blow up 45 Tsum Tsum screens, but what that's going to require of you is that you actually have a lot of Pac-Man on screen to make sure that happens. And of course, if you're also collecting Might Tsum to charge up his ability, you're probably not going to have that many left on screen, which is going to slow you down since you have to cycle through the others and get more to fall from above before you can link them, before you can blow up the screen and repeat the process. So essentially, you have to put in the effort of charging the ability twice to get one use out of it. It's not bad because you can hit for a lot, which might make up for it. There's definitely going to be those games where you get like 7,000-8,000 base coin out of him, but he's not going to be consistent. There's also going to be those games where you get no Might Tsum, you'll barely get like 3,000 or 4,000 base coin out of him, and then you're going to be like, he's just not as good. Beast does that every game. Jedi Luke does that every game. Gaston, my most hated villain of all, he does that every game too, even though I really hate that Tsum Tsum. Anyways, that's going to do it for the new Tsum Tsum. If we look at the capsules right now, you're going to see that Scrooge, Top, Scarer, Sully, and regular Sully are going to be in there. Happy Mike is decent. Flounder is acceptable. And Flynn Rider is bottom of the barrel filler material. So if you have the funds and you don't have Scrooge maxed out yet, it's probably in your interest to get him. He's pretty good. Has a high coin multiplier, which means even though he doesn't hit for a lot of Tsum Tsum on screen, he's still going to generate quite a bit of coin for you. Sully has a lot of utility as far as the missions and the bingo cons are concerned, because he makes a lot of very large Sullys on screen, which means not only can you clear, 60, 70 large Tsum Tsum in a game, which is really going to come in handy for some of those missions, but you can also use him to make time bubbles, since all you need to do is connect 2 of the large heads with 1 small one and you're good to go. You're right in that sweet spot where you have the highest probability of generating the time bubbles. As far as the rest of the capsule goes, it's kind of a dud, really. But if you have the funds, again, make sure you clean it out because you get that skill ticket. And again, Scrooge is not too bad. Now, the second capsule is an interesting one. I like this little experiment they're doing. They only put 2 Tsum Tsum in it. 7 copies of each. I like that. That's nice. We need more of this. The problem is the 2 Tsum Tsum they selected are also filler Tsum Tsum. So, I imagine this is how that meeting went. It's like, Bob, you know what? We should try and save people money. This is a gotcha game. The urge is strong to keep spending coin. How are we going to do this, Bob? How are we going to do this? And Bob is like, you know what? We're going to have a capsule. There's only going to be 2 Tsum Tsum in it. And they're both going to suck. They're going to, fillered, the worst of the, well, they're not that bad, but you get my drift, right? And of course they're like, oh, Bob, you're a genius. Of course, no one's gonna want to buy that capsule. Only the people that have tons of coin and just want the skill ticket. And that's honestly what I recommend. Avoid that one if you don't have the funds. Get it if you want the skill ticket and you have millions of coin lying around. So that's going to do it for the capsules. As far as the select boxes go, I think they're all pretty weak except for this one on screen right now with the Mickeys. There's so many good Mickeys in this one. I'd say like 80% of them are good, top tier even. You guys know I'm super partial to Parade Mickey because he's super useful for those Fever Time missions. And he's also really good at getting coin because his ability actually clears quite a bit. He's relatively quick charging, just a really solid all-around Tsum Tsum in general. Beanstalk Mickey's super good. I love Conductor Mickey, one of my favorite Tsum Tsum in the game. Phantasmic Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey, Musketeer Mickey, they're all very good. Some require a little bit of a higher skill gap, but if once you master them, they will definitely reward you for your time and effort. The other box, as you can see on screen right now, there's Birthday Anna, Surprise Elsa, Queen Elsa, yeah, all the Elsas are decent for coin. And Surprise Elsa is very good to this day for score because again, time bubbles are everything in this game and she makes it easy to get some. So that's probably the second best in my opinion as far as the select boxes go. Again, if you have a ton of coin, maybe if you're missing some of these, feel free to get some. Just know that Bambi is in this one. And as far as my personal luck is concerned, my pull rate would probably be 99.9% Bambi and 0.1% all the other ones. So I would definitely max out Bambi before I get any of the other ones. If your luck is like mine, just keep that in the back of your mind. Bambi is another one of those bottom of the barrel filler Tsum Tsum. So, just be aware of that. The other box is not too bad as well. It's probably the weakest of the bunch. But of course, Cinderella is in that one, which is still probably the best all around. Oh, it's Winter Cinderella. Never mind. Regular Cinderella, best all around scorer in the game. Winter Cinderella is not bad though. So that might be something you want to consider. But other than that, that is how I would rate them. The select box with the Mickeys, probably the best one in my opinion, followed by the one with the Elsas, and then the one with Winter Cinderella. As far as the capsules, you can honestly probably avoid them all. If you're still after that Scrooge though, maybe it's worth buying out the whole thing just to get that skill ticket. As far as the actual event and everything goes, it's much of the same, guys. It's always going to be much of the same. I don't see it changing anytime soon, especially because we have 1 year of updates on the Japanese server to look at as kind of a reference of what we can expect to get ourselves over the next year. And it's going to be much of the same. Just make the bubbles, make the chains, enter the fever times, complete the missions, get your premium tickets, your pins, all that good stuff, and you will be on your way. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. I don't want to rant on for too long. This video is already way too long as it is, but I just kind of wanted to cover a little bit of everything, especially since I will be away for 3 weeks. Last kind of thing I want to end on, if you do want to save some money on actual purchases for rubies, which actually supports the community as a whole, since if you're giving money to the developers, they will continue developing, which means we all get to continue playing. The heart sales, the ruby sales, all that good stuff is on the carousel at the bottom middle there of the screen. So if you do want to take advantage of that, we all appreciate your contribution. And again, good luck. Make sure you get everything you want. If you have any questions, I will still be answering them in the next couple days or so before I head out. And again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your likes, your subs, and your viewership as always. And again, have fun. Have a good one. See you next time.